Big Questions with the Dead Milkmen.
I know that. All right. So the question was, have you or would you ever do an endorsement deal? And if so, what are the requirements for you to choose said endorsement deal? And I keep doing this. I'll ask a question and I don't know the answer until like an hour ago. I chose a Maruchan ramen noodles because you always need to eat, and ramen noodles are just a staple. And if if all else fails, you've got ramen noodles, and you can do a lot with them. You can add all sorts of vegetables, and it doesn't have to be Maruchan specifically, but I'm not like a brand kind of.
Are they giving you money?
No, they're giving them noodles.
Now?
Noodles?
No, I don't even need. I just like a lifetime supply of ramen noodles.
Just that's what you would do.
Not the soy sauce flavored one. It's gross.
So you do like a one of those ads on the side of the floating blimps in Blade Runner. Hi, I'm Dan.
I eat it dry too when I'm desperate.
I used to know somebody that ate them dry.
Victor
still do.
Yeah, there used to be at the Thriftway in West Philly. They used to be 4 for $1. I think they're like 3 for $1. Vienna, these are top ramen, which Vienna loves. I eat ramen, but I don't eat the top ramen. There's another type I get that I really like, but I think for like $12 you can probably get a lifetime supply of ramen. I like the fact that you aimed high there, and it was good because it could be a thing that could happen. Like if I said,
you know what? Because I was thinking about like strings, bass guitar strings, or like picks or something. But then I was like, I don't know.
If you boil a ramen noodle and stretch it out, you can use it as a bass string. See. Plus, now I know what to get Dan.
Oh, wow,
right.
bonus deal.
Making a note.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, honestly, I don't like. I've never been asked to endorse anything, so I probably wouldn't. But if it was
noodles,
something like noodles,
the longer you're in any orbit that involves me, the less likely it is. We'll get to that. Yeah,
that's good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
All right.
yeah. You won't have to worry. Yeah. I like that. I like the question and I like the answer. I would never have guessed somebody would say ramen noodles, but that would be something Vienna would say. Vienna would be like, yeah, ramen noodles, a lifetime supply. And you could give them away to people. I would get the lifetime supply, but I would stop by like food banks and stuff and say, here's, I used to do that with people who would say, I'll send you free clothing. What's your address? And I used to give the address of different shelters. And I'd say, address it to occupant. And they would send it there. Like, how'd you like the clothes? I'm like, I don't know. I had to send it to a homeless shelter.
The Milkmen actually did have an endorsement deal of sorts back in the day. We used to get strings and drumsticks from Dean Markley, which is a company. I don't think they exist anymore.
Dean Markley?
Yeah. Do they exist still?
Yeah.
Weren't they wiped out in the blizzard of Hot 6?
Yeah, right.
I think.
But yeah, we used to get, for wholesale costs, we used to get their guitar strings, bass strings, and drumsticks. And, that was kind of nice to have. We didn't have to do anything in particular for them for that. But, sometimes you get asked a question, what kind of drumsticks do you use or whatever? So, I think for me to accept an endorsement deal, it would have to be a product that I've used for a while, that I trust and that I know the quality of. I can feel comfortable with the company. I wouldn't mind deals from music gear companies like Drum Workshop Drums or Zildjian Cymbals or Vic Firth Drumsticks, because these are the tools that I've been using for such a long time. So I know that they are of quality and they will last a long time. So not that I have an endorsement or deals with any of those companies, but intent. But if the company if it's a tool, if it's music related, and I'm confident in the quality, I could recommend it with confidence. So anyway, yeah, that's my answer.
Me?
It's you.
Joe, you still with us?
Don't he's thinking about ramens. You said noodles, and we know noodles are like heroin to Joe. It's like that's like starting to sing I'm waiting for my man in front of, the crew of Train Spotting. It's noodles. He's got that noodles addiction. Okay, I'm going to show you people everything I've ever gotten for free. Okay, you're going to like this. First, an upgrade for FL Studio. Now, at this point, we would be showing you the FL Studio power user page where my picture used to be. I'm no longer on the power users.
Oh, no.
I still love FL Studio. I still use it. I still endorse it. What happened was I had bought nearly everything. So I got about $300, I think, worth of extra stuff out of that. And they used to have my picture on the power user. Now, if you go there to the power user page now, we'll give you a link. There's people on there like Dead Mouse and Mike Oldfield from Tubular Bells. So I stood out like a sore thumb. It was me with a microphone jammed in my mouth and an Angel Spit t-shirt. So I must have appeared like Gigi Allen to those folks. I must have scared the hell out of them. It's like Angel Spit are not like US Girls or the Lemon Twigs. They're not something you can wear that and get an endorsement. So I don't know what it was, but here's the thing. I got the stuff and I'm not on the page. So little more comfortable with that. So, and so I used to be there. So that's another one. The other thing I can't show you, had a pair of Doc Martens I got for free. We played at Doc Martens store. Now I wore these Doc Martens so often that I wore out the heel, and I wound up actually giving them to somebody who wanted my Doc Martens so they could re-heel them. And occasionally I see them at punk rock shows. I'm like, hi, Doc Martens. So that was another thing I got for free. You'll note there's going to be a theme here. Up next on the for free list are these. These are T.U.K shoes. I don't know how well you can see these. And I wear these because they had a bunch of T.U.K bands, and a friend of ours approached us about being endorsed by them. And the Damned were on the T.U.K thing. I'm like, oh, these are the shoes that Dave Vanian wears. So I will, anything even remotely associated with Dave Vanian. Now, the Damned are no longer on the T.U.K page, but I still love these shoes. And I don't know why T.U.K needed me. I mean, they have real Dave Vanian. They don't need fat Dave Vanian. But I had another pair that they gave me originally that I wore to so many clubs that they eventually wore out, which it is a really tough thing to do. So that was, and people would go, like your shoes, back before I knew the whole like your shoes thing. So I was like, oh, and then they would say the other thing. But these are really good. And I really, and if I'll probably buy the next pair, but they actually sent me these. When I wore out the one pair, I couldn't get those replaced. They didn't make the brand anymore. So I said, well, can you give me some more? Because I really like them. So I wear these. I have to go in the office once a week, and these are what I wear also. So the T.U.K, and if you go to their page, you'll see the Dead Milkmen listed. And then the final thing that I got for free are these. And these are bands that they don't make anymore. And we got these when we did, yeah, there you go. We got these when we did a band showcase. And I got a t-shirt over here somewhere. Here you go. You'll see it right here. It's House of Bands and Dead Milkmen. And we did that. Woo! And so we did that. Now, here's the thing. Vans, I had to call some of the other acts that were on the bill and, going to be on the bill and discuss it with them, because Vans were the sponsors of Warped Tour. And I think we all know what happened with Warped Tour. The less said, the better. In fact, we'll all have to take a long shower, and that's not going to be good. And we discussed it, and apparently bands came pretty clean about everything that had been on about that, and did a lot of work to repair that. And also, if this was our show, that would have been fine, but there were a lot of bands on the bill that would not have been exposed to like a punk rock audience. And so, or basically people that know all the words to Punk Rock Girl, and that excludes Joe. And it was kind of agreed amongst me and some people that, hey, it wouldn't be a bad thing. And everybody got free Vans, and all the other bands used their free Vans to kick our asses. We got blown off the stage, and people still to this day go, you made the mistake of having Youth Code go on before you, didn't you? So that's the only free stuff I've ever gotten. So that is something I needed to show you. Now, I'm going to give you a quick tour of my studio, and I'll explain everything after I do. All right, this is pretty much my entire home studio. So we're going to go over here. That is a DX11 that I got for free. And we discussed that. By the way, if everybody was not happy that I didn't have 3 good things that happened last year, first was somebody gave me a DX11. The second was there was a Dead Milkmen Dungeons and Dragons module, as you can often see by the poster you can see behind me, released. And then the third thing would have been that Sinner Get Ready, probably the greatest album of our lifetime. Even dickheads liked it, which is kind of weird. But anyway, so that's the DX11. Up there is a Korg. You can see there's some posters. And if we go over here, there's a thing of Kleenex. If we go over here, that little bass module down there, that was a gift from Stephen Archer, who gets mentioned in every show. And then we're going to come, there's a, this is important because this is another little Korg that I use for a lot of things. And then over here, this is my setup. I don't know if we want to call it the modular setup, but those are all my little Volcas. We go up here, it's just a couple things. I'm showing this because this stuff's really cheap. And then, well, those are Twin Peaks Funko Pops. There's a few things up here, and then there's a setup down here. And that is not much. And there are 2 other things I want to show you, because both of these Dean gave to me, and I use this all the time as a pocket operator that makes 1980s office sounds. And also, he just got me this, and it looks like a robot. It scares the hell out of Vienna, and it's a little bit crusher. It's going to be awesome. So I'm probably going to put that. Sometimes I run symbols through these, but what I'm saying is I'm not going to endorse anything else. If I need it, I'll buy it. It's just much easier that way. I think there's a point when people are coming to you for endorsements. You're probably famous enough that you could buy whatever it was. And it's just a lot less hassle. As the Church of the Subgenius used to say, nobody driving around in a Porsche deserves it. So that's that now. So I'm also, because I live in a row house in South Philadelphia, I take the subway and people seem to like that. I don't know why. I go to shows. There's Rodney. He lives in a row house in South Philadelphia, rides the subway. So I'm a little concerned about my public image. I obviously don't want to have a lot of stuff, and I'm happier without a lot of stuff. But I'm so concerned about my public image. Here's another little tip for you people that has to do with endorsements. I sometimes do sound design for movies, like little bits of spooky stuff and stuff like that. And I never have them put my name on it. This happened by accident. But here's the reason. Let's say I do some sound design for you and you put out like Irreversible or a Serbian film, then my name is stuck on that. So I usually say, all right, just, if you can, leave my name off of it. Here's my PayPal, and just stick some cash in there. So if you see me endorsing or hear me endorsing a film under recommendations, I didn't do the sound work on it. Maybe. So that's it. I really am not at all interested in endorsing it. If Korg calls and says we'll give you an Op6, which they wouldn't, because I was wearing an Angel Spit shirt once. If I had a Caustic shirt, they wouldn't even have approached me. I'd say no. It's just I don't know what strings come attached to that. Like my dad said, when you start getting stuff for free, you start expecting stuff for free. And I don't want to be the guy that starts expecting stuff for free. So I wash my hands.
Integrity.
Not integrity. It's just I like being able to go to shows and people go, oh yeah, that guy, he's okay.
How about you, John?
I can't imagine anybody would buy something because I endorsed it.
I wouldn't.
And I really haven't been offered any endorsements. I do remember our manager, Dave Reckner, got us that deal with Dean Markley, like in 86 or something. But both Dave and I were already using Dean Markley strings. He used the bass strings. I don't know why I started. I can't remember what made me start to use them, but I like them. A particular gauge called medium. I would probably still be using them, but they stopped making the gauge that I like, with the wound third string, the G string. But Ernie Ball makes that same exact gauge, and I switched over to them, and I really didn't see any difference. In fact, I like these just as well. But Ernie, I don't get any endorsement. I have to pay full price for them. I don't know if anybody out there works for Ernie Ball and wants to offer me something, but I still don't imagine who's going to go buy guitar strings because I say I use them.
Speaking of G strings and balls, did I mention at the top of my segment that when Bob Dylan was shilling for Victoria's Secret? Does anybody remember when Bob Dylan was out there?
I remember that he had they even put out a special CD that only sold at Victoria's Secret.
Everything I've always told you folks about Bob Dylan is right.
He also did a commercial for like Chevy, right? Didn't he do that?
I don't know.
He does all kinds of endorsements. And he has his own line of whiskey, which is not sold in Pennsylvania. Go figure.
We haven't endorsed it, but we've been told and given bottles of various beers that have like bitchin' brew or whatever. You know,
right. I'll take all the beer.
Some of them are quite good.
If it has, oh yeah,
don't give Joe beer, people.
But getting something for free is not the same as endorsement.
I can't believe I forgot to lead with Bob Dylan in that Victoria's Secret thing. It was on my notes over here, and I'm like, I'm looking up, I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to mention Bob Dylan's Victoria's Secret ad.
So follow-up bonus question: Would any of you guys take a Camaro if the Chevrolet company wanted to say bitchin' Camaro and we'll give you a free car?
I'm not really fond of that particular car.
I like the new Camaros. I think somebody had one parked outside my house for a long time and people thought it was mine. But the thing is, if I take a car, then I'm not that guy anymore.
I might take the car
not to stop being me.
I might take the car if they didn't have any questions afterwards when I like put it up for auction and donated the money to charity. How about that?
Good answer.
Everybody always says I donate the money to charity, and it's like, and I'll change the system from within. But I've never met anybody yet who changed the system from within. I think I thought about that, and I thought once you take some, because we all remember what happened to Chumbawamba. That was Chumbawamba's plan, and Chumbawamba ain't around anymore. They pulled a good stunt. They took the money from Ford, let Ford use tub thumping, and then they took that money and used it to create a website that exposed a lot of the stuff Ford did and everything. But the truth is, there's a lot of people out there that just know Chumbawamba from the music in the back of the Ford commercial. It's like when the Clash, one of the roughest days of my life was when they used London Calling in the back of that Jaguar ad. And I was just like, once you write a song, you don't own that song anymore. Like somebody fell in love to that song, or they got laid for the first time to that song, or that song meant something to them. And I was just like, London Calling being used to promote a car that I could never afford. So.
What
car? Well, thanks for your answers, guys.
Oh.
That was a great question, Dan. That was a great question. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it just came to me, and I think I'd heard you talk about some of that stuff before, and I know you guys had offers of weird stuff, but yeah. So for recommendations, I want to recommend. It's an Instagram page. I wonder. I should check see if he has a YouTube. It's this guy. Dr. Radical Animation. His name is Cameron. And a couple times he's used some of my music for like reels of his stuff. And it's pretty good. So check that out.
Cool. I have two recommendations this week. One is a YouTube video. It's very short. It's 2 minutes and 22 seconds long. It's basically just location sound. I don't think there's any music to it. It's called Sounding the Sumburgh Foghorn. And the Sumburgh Foghorn is located in Scotland. It was built in 1905. And it was, I guess, used up until the 80s. And then they turned it off, or they don't use it anymore, and fell into disrepair. And they've recently restored it. And now they sound the foghorn on special occasions. It's part of a park area with a lighthouse and nature area. So the video, you get to see the technician fire up the generators and turn the foghorn on. It probably does not give you the sense of how freaking loud it is, but it can be heard for 20 miles out to sea. It's damn loud. we'll put a picture of it here somewhere on the screen, and you can watch the video. So that's my recommendation number 1. My recommendation number 2 is kind of a weird one. It's actually, I would like you to read a hilarious short news story about the removal of the ugliest Confederate statue. I don't know if anybody else saw this.
Yes.
This is a statue that's located off Interstate 65 in Tennessee. It's described by reporter Ben Collins as the laziest of all Confederate monuments, which is either a statue of Nathan Bedford Forrest or maybe 40 mufflers hastily stapled together. Nathan Forrest, by the way, was one of the worst racist Confederate generals and a war criminal. Look up the Battle of Fort Pillow if you want to learn more about that. And he was also the first ever Grand Wizard of the Klan. And this memorial was up in Tennessee for like over 20 years. It's absolutely disgusting. The thing is hideous.
The Daily Show said it looks like a chicken shooting its way out of a liquor store.
Yes, it's terrible. So anyway, I think you get a good laugh if you read the story. It was finally taken down, and I'm glad of that. So it's a very entertaining short read.
The Daily Show said it should have been left up because it mocked the Confederacy so well. Oh,
it's been vandalized many times. It's made out of polyurethane. It's not even metal, but it looks like gold and chrome. It's really a weird, ugly thing.
Thanks, by the way, for last week recommending bad lip reading, Dune. That was worth it just alone for you're like the butt crack of your whole family. We can just stop with the internet now. We've achieved perfection with bad lip reading Dune. All right, so let me go this week with my recommendations. I got a few of them. First, the new episode of my radio show is up, so I will put up a link to that. It's an all covers episode, which means that if you don't know who Three Teeth are, you might know the song "You Spin Me Right Round, Baby Right Round," and if you know who Three Teeth are, you're going to be going, they covered "You Spin Me Right Round." Yes, they did, and it's glorious. So I recommend that you give that a listen. And like I say, you'll know the songs, and then you can learn the bands, or you'll know the bands, and you'll probably know the songs. It's complex. All right, this is followed by a film from 2019 called The Columnist, which comes out of the Netherlands. The Netherlands, the country that gave us Fender Bender, Amsterdam, and that weird film where that lion is running around loose in Antwerp or whatever. It's absolutely amazing. This film, The Columnist, is a Black comedy about a woman who starts killing internet trolls. So if you've ever read a lot of the comments in this show, you probably may have fantasized about that. It could have been a little darker and a little funnier. It could have gone like in a serial mom direction, but it's still very funny and very enjoyable, and really you should see it. I think Shudder has it and a few other people. Now, a movie. Have you guys seen The Curse yet? Don't. This is a bad movie. This makes Troll 2 look like Citizen Kane. This is, we've talked about Neil Breen on this show before. If Neil Breen decided to make a hard-hitting cop movie, this is it. I sat through the film because somebody had told me about it and recommended it to me. And I sat through it and I was absolutely puzzled and amazed. I still don't know what the plot is. It has something to do with a cop who also practices Santeria. But what they told me to do, and I'm looking up one of them now, is to
You're not friends with this person anymore, are you?
What's that?
You're not friends with that person anymore for recommending.
I still am, because I'm glad I saw this. They said keep an eye out every time a newspaper headline, and we'll put some of them up because I did get screenshots, comes up on the screen. You got to pause and look at it, because it looks like the person who designed it has never seen a newspaper, and all the shots are also stills from the movie. So you're like, oh, that's interesting. But this is my favorite little sub headline that is there. And I'm going to read this out to you now. Mother of unarmed suspect dies from suffering caused by cop. It is at one point, I got to get a screenshot of this. I'll grab one hopefully before I get this all out. I meant to get it, but it didn't pop up for some reason. And this is supposed to be the New York Times, but it says the Yorkies Times, and they have someone was electrocuted and they misspell electrocute. It is a glorious mess. So that's up. And then finally, I'm finally getting my last one, Doctor Who, Flux. I was away for Halloween and I didn't know there was a new season of Doctor Who. It's called Flux. and it is really, really good. I am really, really happy with it. I always go kind of with some trepidation into Doctor Who. You know, can it be as good as the other ones? 2 minutes into this one, they referenced the Seventh Doctor, which made me really happy. Now, people always say to me, can I come over and watch Doctor Who with you? I'm the worst person to watch Doctor Who with, because I'm like, well, actually, the Sontarans first appeared in an episode with the Third Doctor where they introduced Sarah Jane. So, yeah, don't watch it with me, but definitely watch Doctor Who Flux. I think it's like 7 or 8 episodes to this thing, and I think I'm like 3 or 4 in, but I'm really happy. So
I did not know that. I'm going to have to get on that.
Yeah, it's AMC Plus has it. I had to get like AMC Plus to see it. There's a lot of hoops you got to jump through to see things these days, but I'm sure it'll turn up somewhere. I didn't know because they really didn't push it out there. So I came back from Halloween vacation going, wait, there's a new Doctor Who, and then finally caught up with it. And yeah, I'm glad I did catch up with it because it is really, really good. So yeah, Jodie Whittaker's on her way to becoming one of my favorite Doctor Who's of all time. So it's that excellent. Although Peter Capaldi is my favorite Doctor Who, so you got to judge it by that.
I have one recommendation. It's a YouTube channel by a drummer named Nandi Bushell. She's 11 years old. She lives in Ipswich, UK with her parents. And she has drum battles with famous people like Dave Grohl and Chad Smith. And she's been interviewed by countless people. She made it to the cover this year of now I forget the name of that drummer magazine.
Modern Drummer?
Modern Drummer, yeah. Modern Drummer. And she doesn't have any albums out. She did all this through social media. She became a social media star. Now she's starting to play other instruments and write songs. So she's really enthusiastic, and I enjoy seeing her videos.
Thank you.
I'm sending myself some stuff for the show. All right, everybody. Remember, nice girls don't wear cha-cha heels. This is good. Oh, yeah. All right. So long.
Bye, guys.
Cue the music.